little story I got to tell about. No, that's not where I was going with it. Um, so Independence Day. Let's see my face. I feel a certain way about it. Why, Lady K? Well, I'm glad you asked because we just celebrated Juneteenth, right? We just celebrated Juneteenth. And as you guys know, just in case you don't, just a quick refresher. Juneteenth happened technically 1863, but Texas found out about it 1865. 18. Independence Day, the year was 1776. 1776, 1865. Later. That's later. 1776, 1865. 63, 65. So when all the celebrations and stuff was going on, my folks were still slaves. We were still slaves. And they made our people, fight in any war, uh whatever was going on. The slaves were made to be a part of it. So they out there fighting and getting injured and whatever and whatever and whatever. And when it's all over, all the other folks talking about we're free, we're free, we're free. But the slaves, they were not free. So I feel some kind of way about just celebrating this. It's only for a certain group of people. Yeah. So anyway, for anybody that doesn't know what Independence Day is all about, meaning you don't really know the history of what is called the United States. Independence Day, known colloquially as the 4th of July, it's a federal holiday in the United States which commemorates the adoption of the Declaration of Independence on July 4th, 1776, establishing the United States of America. By doing this, the delegates to the Second Continental Congress declared that the 13 colonies, which is why that word colonizer floats around so much, because everything started out as 13 colonies, were no longer subject and subordinate to the monarch of Britain, King George III, and were now united, freed, independent states. So basically, to break that down for those that didn't pay attention in history class, the people that started this over here were people that didn't want to follow the rules of Britain. Yeah, our history comes from Britain. Over there, the God save the king and queen, them. That's who the United States is. That's those are our parents for the most part. When I say our, I just mean me as an American. Those are our parents. They, the ones that didn't want to follow those rules over there, they left and came over here to a land that was already established with people who we refer to as the indigenous, was people already here. There's people already here. Anyway, I'm not going. Okay, so anyway, they came over here. But when they came over here, Britain was like, "Oh, okay, yeah, y'all left, but y'all still under us. You're still our subjects." So that's where the fight came in. They was fighting about it, and the soldiers that were over here on this side, they won. So yeah, Congress voted to approve independence by passing the Lee Resolution on July 2nd and adopted the Declaration of Independence 2 days later on July 4th. Independence Day is commonly associated with fireworks, parades, etc., etc., etc. For the people that like to do fireworks and stuff, one thing I would ask that you just be mindful. We have a lot of veterans around here that literally have PTSD from them being in the war, and the fireworks and stuff sound just like the guns and bombs that used to go off when they were over there. So just and it drives the pets crazy. So just please be mindful of that. It's a national holiday here, so yes, we are off this weekend. My company, well, because of the way it falls, the 4th of July this year is a Saturday. So like my company and a few other companies are observing 4th of July tomorrow, even though it's the 3rd. Um a little more background: during the American Revolution, the legal separation of the 13 colonies from Great Britain in 1776 actually occurred on July 2nd, when the Second Continental Congress voted to approve a resolution of independence that had been proposed in June by Richard Henry Lee of Virginia. Um, Declaring the United States independent from Great Britain's rule. After voting for independence, Congress turned its attention to the Declaration of Independence, a statement explaining this decision, which had been prepared by the Committee of Five, which asked Thomas Jefferson to author its first draft. And we all know, or we should know, Thomas Jefferson was one of the folks that, he's lauded for doing whatever, whatever, whatever. But he also has a whole separate family tree because he had, some call her his mistress. She was a young girl that he had a whole bunch of kids with. They were his slaves. Okay. So, I mean, I'm just giving you a little background on what 1776 is. But again, 1776 and 1865. Yeah, in 1776, my folks were still slaves. So I can't, y'all do what you do. I'm not telling you not to celebrate. Do what you do. Of course, like I said earlier, I did the birthday shout outs. We got folks that have birthdays this weekend. So, of course, definitely celebrate your birthday. But when it comes to this, I you won't see me in no red, white, and blue. None of that. I'm not. And I'm not saying I never did it before, because I have. I did. I was, before I, when you know better, you do better. So, stuff started adding up. I did the math and I was like, wait a minute. Wait a minute. No, I'm not doing that. But anyway,